Good start of May, everyone. Next week and the week after, two events spotlight the state of Brooklyn startups in the web, smartphone, and tablet arenas. Techcrunch's annual Disrupt New York here in Brooklyn for the first time opens next Monday morning. That three-day showcase will be followed by Internet Week New York, offering a variety of activities all over the Big Apple. Now, both are expected to devote considerable time on a mature tech's new potential, television as vehicle for web, smartphone, or tablet applications. Both events are also on the radar screen of Digital NYC, the fast-growing information hub of the local startup community.
New York City is the fastest growing tech startup community in the world.
New York City is the most dynamic, dense, creative, exciting, diverse city in the country.
One of the biggest benefits of New York City is the diversity of what's happening here.
There's fashion, there's art, finance.
So much of the tech scene touches every industry in New York City.
New York is a place where people come and they get stuff done.
People here are building real businesses that affect real people.
New York City has always been the most exciting place in the world to start a business. That's not new news.
Digital.nyc is a public-private partnership that's really the first time anybody has connected all the pieces of the tech ecosystem.
We're bigger than the sum of our community when you know that the government and the mayor have your back.
As a startup founder, people that I meet are constantly asking me, where can I find a list of all the best startups in the city? It's going to be real-time, active. We're actually bringing together the tech ecosystem into one place.
Digital.nyc really enables that growth by creating community.
New York City is making Digital.nyc the connective tissue for the entire tech community of New York City.
That it will be this awesome portal as a way to kind of bring folks together so that we know we are in fact a community.
Digital.nyc is something that we need.
Wow, I wish that existed when we were first starting.
They've done a lot of the legwork for you.
Truly, as a New Yorker, I couldn't be prouder of my city and more excited about the future.
News,
startups,
Events,
jobs,
Investors,
resources,
maps, courses,
Workspaces,
incubators,
accelerators, videos,
Blogs.
It's all here in one place. That's Digital.nyc.
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 New York City's hub for tech and startups.
Yes, that video has a beat, and you can dance to it, as American Bandstand would say. Here now in our studio to explain where Digital NYC heads from here is editor Marcos Dinnerstein. Marcos, welcome to BK Live.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. What is Digital NYC up to these days?
What are we up to? We are trying to have our finger in everything involved in the tech and startup community in New York City. Since that ever so hoppin', kickin' video was produced, we've added over 1,500 startups to the number of startups that are listed on the site. We continue to have just about every tech event, course, investor, job posting class, co-working space, all listed and current on the site. And that's primarily automated. Since I'm the primary person on the site, we have Rss Feeds. Those are automated data pulls and APIs, for those of you who are acquainted with that term, that bring information in from a data source to our site. But an essential part of what I do is connecting with people in the tech and startup community, where people will contact me and say, can you promote a given event we're having, whether it's a pure business or whether it's a civic organization. We like to give voice and amplify the events that are relevant to our community.
Now, Techcrunch Disrupt is coming to Brooklyn for the very first time.
Really?
Yeah, really. Oh. At this Brooklyn waterfront terminal. Have a little issue with where they're doing it because it's a place where you can't get there by bus or subway. Closest subway is Smith Ninth Street and the G line, so you'd better either schlep for a 25, 30-minute walk to this terminal near the Battery Tunnel as opposed to going to Metro Tech or someplace else, which would have had more transportation accessibility, if you will. But I'm curious, what do you hope Disrupt will say? What do you hope will come out of that event?
Well, It brings together the community, as many of the tech events in this city do. Tech Day, which is just one day, as the name would imply. And it allows for these companies to show themselves to a broader audience, and probably as importantly, a cross-pollination of companies checking out each other. You'll be working a booth. I know I did this at Tech Day.
Which was last week.
Which was last week. Also on the water. That's where you find large spaces. It appears.
All up and down the Hudson River.
That's right. And the cross-pollination that goes on in these events is fantastic. I'd be spotted by my colleagues, and I'd go wandering and meet with companies who I'd never actually spoken to before, had heard about, or maybe brand new ones, or civic groups. There's a terrific educational group, Per Scholas, who I'd heard about for forever. And they're doing great work teaching tech school skills to underserved communities. So I wandered up and went, hey guys, it's great to finally meet you. Let's talk. Let's find out a way where I can help support your mission. And of course, they're happy to play with Digital.nyc, and this is one of our functions.
Speaking of cross-pollination, we are now at a time where the smart TV set and smart TV devices are taking off. Ultra HD is getting to the point where now, according to a study that came out this morning, 1.5 million sets were sold in the first 3 months of this year alone. You've now got virtual reality on the television set, as well as in devices like Oculus, Next VR, we talked about this before, Google Cardboard. Is there a sense that, for example, the smartphone and tablet apps are now looking to put their work on the television set? If Tim Cook of Apple TV says the future of TV is apps, are they now looking at becoming television apps? Are we starting to see some of the television tech startups get involved with the smartphone, the tablet, the personal computer startups and say, hey, let's create something new for television?
Yes, both new and also a convergence of conventional, traditional television. This is not going to be news to you or your viewers that you can watch Netflix or Hulu on your phone. So definitely they're trying to both enter these new media, the different forms of expression, as well as incorporate the older to whatever screen a viewer will have access to.
That's one of the things, by the way, I hope that Techcrunch will deal with. And also Internet Week New York, which has been doing a lot more in terms of smart TV apps, content, because people are watching Netflix on the TV set. They're watching Hulu on the TV set. Hulu is now a Cablevision Systems feature. Crackle is now getting involved with Comcast. So some of these services that we've known on the web are now becoming television services. Right. And that's how people are noticing them. Is there a particular technology that you're excited about that you think has potential for television?
Well, I'm not an expert in this. I'm an informed layperson. Because
so as an informed layperson, what would you think?
I'm at a loss to suggest any thing in particular. I'm very interested and excited about what will happen in the virtual reality and augmented reality space, especially creatively, the kind of storytelling that will be possible. When television first came in, people tried to create content that was radio with pictures.
And Marcus, on that thought, we're going to have to leave it there because we got to wrap up. It's a pleasure to have you on BK Live, and you do a great job with Digital NYC. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much for having me.
And if you want to see Digital NYC, that's exactly the website. It's www.digital.nyc. And speaking of TechCrunch, editor Anthony Ha will join us 2 weeks from today with a post-disrupt interview. And we will also, coming up later on Tomorrow Be Televised, bring you multicast channel The Country Network. We'll also showcase an HBO special tonight that marks the 20th anniversary of Shoah, the groundbreaking Holocaust documentary, and The Real MVP, Lifetime's original movie Saturday Night and Kevin Durant's mother. Plus, the person who involved with that film is involved in a new project called We Did It Together. If you're a woman or woman of color who wants to get involved in television, check this out. 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Blog Talk Radio.